Call the meeting to order. Greater Peoria Mass Transit, June 10th, 2024, 5:30. We'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Trustee Sterling-Pope,
Present.
Trustee Hare,
Present.
Trustee Ahart,
Present.
Trustee Knox,
Present.
Trustee Morris.
Present.
Pledge of allegiance, please.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Has everyone had an opportunity to read the minutes from our regular meeting of May 13th? If so, may I have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. May I have the receipt and reading of any communications that we might have? No communications? Okay. We have any reports from our officers and trustees? Hearing none. Report for standing committees. I have one for ADA. We are moving along at a fast pace. We are all scheduled for our event, July 26th. We'll be having our regular meeting on June 26th at Epic. Anyone that would like to attend, please feel free. We're ready for the report from our general manager, Mr. Myers. Excuse me, Dr. Myers.
Well, general manager report, somewhat short, but there's a lot involved with it, with all the different department heads that have got input. We've been involved with working, getting all the AC systems working on all of the different buses. We're down to roughly 2 buses now that we're waiting on compressors on, and I hope they'll be in by the end of this week. They're really hard to come by now. We're getting close to summer. Other companies, and I've had Abby, the manager down there, parked room, scouting other vendors and anything we can get to get these 2 going. Other things I've been involved with, been working on ADA contract issues, and I'll be reviewing those with the board at the end of this meeting. Reviewing, another thing I've been doing is reviewing the bus routes. At some point, we're going to have another service change due to union issues with the way some of the routes are, and we're running on streets where we're not picking up people, this and that. And I'll have a further report to the board next month on which ones I'm going to recommend that we change and go into a full-blown service report at some point, which the FTA has to approve anyway. So I will have that for the board next month. I've also been working with general counsel on resolutions to pending union arbitrations, which we're still looking into. And bus stop locations for more acceptable locations are stops that are never used. No one's ever there. And there's some that I want to move around, and I will have a board report on that next month, the locations with your approval to move these around. And they're currently doing the evaluations for each of my direct reports, all directors on my staff. And I'll have those finished Friday and make a report into the board for the next meeting. And then I will now turn it over to our director of marketing, Shamra, and she has a report for you.
Good evening, board members.
Good evening.
So I just wanted to take this time to introduce Megan Bresnan. She is our new marketing and community engagement assistant. So I'm going to give her a moment to come up and introduce herself. And we're just so excited to have her part of City.
Hi, everyone. My name is Megan Bresnan. As Shamra said, I will be her assistant for marketing and community engagement. I started last Monday, so I'm very excited to be here, very new as well. I have about 8 years of communication experience. I've worked at Illinois Central College and Caterpillar within the area. So I hope to bring all of my expertise here to help make CityLink all the better. And I thank you guys for the opportunity.
Welcome.
Thank you,
We're
Megan.
glad you're here.
Yeah.
Assistant General Manager.
At this time, Assistant General Manager will give you his report.
Good afternoon. I have two updates I'm going to present this afternoon. One has to do with the projects that I started the previous month, and the other one would be on operations. So where we stand when it comes to operations. So with regards to the projects, from last month till now, 2 more shelters have been completed. So I would say that is work in progress. And moving away from the glass to the perforated is holding very well. So the whole idea why we move that way, I think it's paying off. Support vehicles. What is holding us back in this regard has to do with what is available versus what we need. So it's something we're looking at, but what they have available is not exactly what we need for our purposes. So that is also work in progress. We touched on this last month, and I would come down to the new buses we have. They've been sitting down for a while. We have what we've done on them so far. Inspection has been completed, license and title added to the fleet and insurance, state inspection completed. We're now dealing with mounting fare boxes. Out of the 10 buses, as of this afternoon, I went around, we have the mount on 5. They're still working on it. Familiarization training with operations would only take place after maintenance have completed what they are doing. Move radios off contingency fleet and install on new buses. That's work in progress. With regards to the camera equipment, I spoke to Steve Rich this afternoon. They're just waiting for 2 more boxes, which according to him will be shipped out on the 12th. And it's only after it's been shipped out that we're going to have a date for installation. So that's also work in progress. For this, we posted solicitation on 6/7, and I would want Brad to give me a quick update on what is next.
So we got a pre-proposal meeting scheduled for this Thursday. We'll get together with possible A&E contractors in the area that are interested in bidding on the job. So we'll get together with them, explain everything that we're looking for, and from there, it's always my.
In the mid-July is when the proposals are due. This is an RFQ, so it's qualifications based, which means that pricing is not a component until we select somebody. So we'll present to you hopefully in July, once we make our selection of who we feel is the best. And then after that, we'll negotiate pricing, and then we'll have to come to you with the final approval before we start contracting with them. Once we contract with them, it'll take them a couple months to finalize the design. And what they're going to be doing at the transit center is basically a refresh of the whole area, new ballards, new ADA curbing. I can't think of what it's called, the sketching with the white.
Crosswalks.
So, yeah, and all of that. New paint, brand new lighting. Everything's just going to look nice and fresh down there.
Thank you. This is still work in progress. I'm working on the scope. And for projects like this, for the next month board meeting, before then, we're going to start scheduling regular capital project meetings because we have quite a few things that need to be well coordinated. So it's something I'm working with Jamie on now, and we'll have Steve, Brad, and other directors on board so that all projects we're dealing with, we would have regular meetings to make sure that these things are very well, we are all on the same page when it comes to what we're doing. I had the same slide up the last time. The only information I'll provide here is we have information that the state of Illinois currently, they have these vehicles available. So it's something I'm going to start working with Jamie on starting next week, Monday. So those vehicles we're looking for, state of Illinois has it where we can start working on acquiring them. Where is the?
Before you go on, are there any questions about the report that we just received from Kofi? I just have one thing. When you actually get, can we have a more detailed description of what's actually going to happen for the transit center under the dome remodel, so that you can tell us specifically what's going to happen and kind of give us an overview of what's going to look like after? I appreciate it. Thank you. Don, do you have a question?
Yeah, I had a comment, and it was only similar last month. And thank you again for doing the project updates because it helps us. I think also from us better understanding as we transition each time. If you could maybe break the slides down a little bit and put, a section on like what's the background, then another section on current status, and then another one on next steps, just so we can have a better understanding as we go through the project cycle. Other than that, thank you.
Thank you, Kofi.
Thank you. So this presentation is just going to give a snapshot of where we stand when it comes to operations. Ridership for this month, for May, compared to that of April, went up about 7%. Accidents, we're down 50%. We had 6 preventable the previous month. This month, we have 3, and these are all preventable accidents. Yeah. On-time performance, we are not where we need to be. Numbers-wise, I'll say we are below 80%. You look into some of the reasons why we are at this position. Some could be attributed to maintenance issues, where pullouts are not happening as it should, breakdowns and all those things. Another area of concern here that is being addressed is drivers showing up to pick up locations before the scheduled time. So that is something that I have met with the ops department, road supervisors, to make sure that show up at the pickup location should not be before the scheduled time, because it's no point getting there before the passengers show up. So that is something that is being addressed. We currently have 4 driver trainees. They started last week. They completed the classroom part of the training last week. They're now into the pre-trip air brake, the other part of the training. Anticipated date of completion, it's going to be about 3 weeks or 4 weeks from now. It all depends on how they pick it up, but that is ongoing. Okay. Any questions, please?
Only.
Sorry. Do you have a shortage of bus drivers right now?
At this point,
we are fully staffed right now. We're short, so we are per contract. We're allowed to have 15 part-time positions. We've found that it's been difficult to staff those positions, and we don't really need them at this point. So we are staffed for what we need right now. Now we do have a large portion of people who are off on leave for different reasons. So that factors into our numbers, and that's kind of out of our control because we don't know, what the leave is for, when it's going to come. So yeah, so we're fully staffed right now.
On your accidents, I would like you to give us a little bit more information.
Okay.
My only concern is the number that I see that it has gone down, which is great.
Yes.
I need to know what actually sort of happened, brief description,
Okay.
what kind of corrective action that we've taken to,
Okay.
so that it doesn't happen again.
That would, the next meeting, I'll put it in. So if it's mirror related, backing up,
Right.
tail swing,
Right.
I'll put it in and the corrective action we're taking on our end.
Okay, thank you so much. Any more questions?
Thank you.
Marie. I believe that our budget presentation is going to be deferred until our July. Right? Okay. So we're ready for our new facility update then?
We have, F&W been installing facade. First week. Installing facade around the north parking lot. A&H Steel continuing removal and install of metal panels around the south building. A&J Electric for duct bank for the charger and the 2,500 amp service along the wire. Any Finch excavated for detention basin along the south end. Pipco's been installing ductwork in the bus storage, and then Tobin removed oil, water separator, and backfill back there. So most of our work has been on the C, obviously, and then working through phase B has just been punch items. Budget update, currently no change to GMP. Overall phases altogether 87.7% complete. Total gross build is 38 million, and then I'm working on payout 37, which will be submitted at the end of this month. As far as our overall schedule, phase B 92%. I have it only at 92 because again, just the punch items. We're missing a couple items for River City and subs to finalize, but we're still pending the punch from the design team. So once we get that received, the Mueller should be on site on Monday to finalize that, and then we can work through getting those wrapped up and get you guys over there. Phase C, we are 27%, and then phase D, no change on that, still at 10.
Seeing no questions, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Report from the general manager, Transdev. That be you, Lance? Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, I think you basically have a report. The report that I have, basically, is I added a few things that I think you might want to know about. So we're looking at our totals that we have. We have basically 5 routes that we need to have opened up to make sure that we're covering our existing routes. Prior to that, our total that we need as a whole, we need roughly about 34 drivers on the road. We currently have about 29 as of today. We just had a new trainee that just graduated. We have 2 that's on medical. So we're basically trying to work our way into that. We just came from a job fair. Also, what was this? Goodwill Commons, trying to build up more employees to come in with us. Until we get that number, our numbers are going to stay down. We're trying to work on that now as we speak. So you have before you, in front of you, basically the monthly invoice, miles and hours, the city of and the county link service summary. All those numbers basically you already have before you. So if there's any questions to anything else, I'd be more than willing to help answer any of them.
I just have one. I was going through, I go through our bills every month, what we actually pay out.
Yes.
And I'm familiar with the lump sum that would give you at the beginning of the month. I didn't realize that we were paying for your fuel as well. Do you know if that is a contracted item that's in your contract, or is that just something we sort of do?
From what, because I actually pay part of that when it comes to our what is it called, the ADP portion of it, or whatever. So I pay part of that. I think that comes, you should send that back to you, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I can double check for you.
We get reimbursed.
Right,
We pay for
exactly.
the fuel and
Okay, and then you
we pay
reimburse. Okay, that's all I need. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Any more questions?
Thank you.
That was easy.
Public comments?
Yes, Miss Karen Haney and Chris McDonald, city list timing.
I'm gonna let my brother speak first so I can translate for him and then elaborate on whatever he said
Just, we do have a 5-minute limit, just so,
for each of us, not between us.
as a group. I mean,
For all public comment,
Well, I mean, if different people, if Joe Blow is over there making a comment, that's one thing.
what do you want to say? He's getting nervous, so I'll talk while he's waiting. But anyway, as she said, my name is Karen Haney. I'm guardian for Chris. He's been a writer of services for decades. He is deaf and legally blind, and he works at the Community Workshop and Training Center. Okay. I pulled him from City Lift Services on May 23rd for his safety and well-being. What happened that day is he typically he comes, takes the bus, and he arrives home after 5, which isn't ideal because he gets off work at 3:30. So if you think about that, it's at least an hour and a half from the time he gets off work to the time he gets home. Not thrilled about. Nevertheless, on that particular day, 5 o'clock came and went. No call, no Chris. I have no way to reach him, contact him. The community workshop is closed. I have no way to contact them. I am able to log into the app, and all I see is route not driven. So you can imagine the panic that settles in. I jump in my car, I rush over to the workshop. We live about 10 minutes away. On the way, I'm calling dispatch, asking what's going on with the bus. And they say, the bus is on its way. By this time, it's 5:15. I get there around 5:20. The bus has arrived, and there's no way I'm putting my brother on the bus. He's already waited for almost 2 hours now. And if he gets on the bus, I don't know how many other people are on the bus, and he's probably going to be on the bus for another, half hour to an hour, putting him home at 6:30.
But that, Mike,
Bus late, I am mad.
again,
I'm saying why.
but
He
like,
says, he says because
like,
Like-
but,
like my friend and you like. Do you like the
like,
bus?
but,
Yes. So that's the other point I want to say is the impact of buses is really far reaching. Okay, for him, it's more about his independence, right? He can't drive himself. He's limited in doing many things by himself. So for him, taking the bus is like, I can do this by myself. I'm going to take this bus. I don't care if it takes me 2 hours. It's me who cares that it takes him 2 hours to get home. I'm fortunate enough to be able to provide transportation for him, his appointments and social interactions and what have you. But other people don't have that same fortune, right? And he actually gets upset when I show up to the workshop to pick him up because
the sense of autonomy in his already small world gets even smaller when he gets into my SUV, right? So the issue isn't just getting from point A to point B. Time for disabled people sometimes is the difference between managing a condition and a crisis. So just for the people at CWTC, they're staying overtime, right? And giving their time and hours. For those who are stuck there without a bus, like my brother, he's missing dinner. He's missing med time. For those who are in SILAs, they're missing med time. So like I said, the issue is more than just the buses being late. And this isn't new. This has been going on for years. So I've been patient. I want you to know. I filed a complaint and request for action in 2018 with your ADA committee. I signed up for comment in 2022 to come in front of you, and I was talked out of it, ensuring any changes were on the horizon with new management. I've emailed and spoken to Director of Mobility in 2019 about Chris arriving consistently home between 5 and 6, and separately exchanged many, many emails and calls to Angel throughout the years, who is wonderful. Explanations I've been offered run the gamut from City Lift employees are underpaid compared to City Link. Finding quality employees is an issue, driver retention, drivers deviating from the manifest, lack of available buses to meet demand. Let me just end with this. The ADA requires providers to manage resources to meet demand within reasonable time frames, right? ADA is basic requirement when it comes to the disabled. And among those basic requirements are service reliability, timeliness, and capacity constraints. And the ADA prohibits providers limiting the availability of services such as capacity constraints to consumers. So in essence, all I'm asking for is a commitment from this board to take accountability and make immediate and sustained improvements to its paratransit service. Our community cannot continue to pick up the slack due to inadequacies, service issues, and staff issues from city. So I'm doing my part in picking up my brother now and pulling him from services altogether. But mentally, it's doing a job on him, and he would much prefer to ride the bus. And I would love to allow him to take the bus again, but I'm not going to do it when the bus is 2 hours late. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. I truly want to apologize. As chair of the ADA committee, it is our intent to try to be aware of the issues that are going on and to try to make them better. I apologize for us not meeting the mark. I would though like to know if Lance, who is here from TransDev, if there's anything that he would like to add to that.
Well, if I can, I did get some wind of the situation that happened some time ago. And the biggest thing I think is a lot of the riders are not going through the Riders Guide. They don't understand that we have a shared ride service. And it's not an excuse for anything, not at all. But we do have a time that we try to be abide by. Usually we do it an hour. We want to make sure they ride no more than an hour. If they ride more than an hour, then we're cringing on it. When you have a shortage, that's where it comes in. It hurts the whole system. CWTC is one of our agencies that we have that's locked into what we say they ride by themselves. Unfortunately, with the program that we have now, when you lock them into that program, what it does is it gets everybody else off the bus. Now nobody can get on the bus until after we've made them drop. And that hurts our service. So we're working on that. We had Ecolane come in to do training to give us a little bit more insight on exactly what's supposed to be done. They gave us a pretty good outlook on it. So we're working on the groups right now where we can actually build that up. We'll open up more weekday routes so then that way they have a consistent trip every day. But right now, we're working on just getting the employees here to actually get that done.
Heard it before. I understand. All I can say right now, Karen, is that we are aware of our deficiencies. It's not that we are ignoring them. We are trying to make them better. All I can say is that we'll continue to try. And I understand where you're coming from.
Yes.
I do know that sometimes when individuals don't have people with disabilities, they don't understand the situations that come up. I do understand, and we are working on trying to make it better. If you have given your information, like your telephone number, your email, I will try to see that what we can do to make it a little bit better. We will have some meetings with Lance and with Angel and with you if you would like to see if we can address your situation and make it a little bit better.
I'm happy to, but I do want to say it's not just I don't just want to make it better for my
Well, you
brother.
right.
I think the whole system needs improvement. I know my brother isn't the only one, because when I go to pick him up from the late bus at CWTC, there's many people who are still waiting, right? So, it's everyone is entitled to basic services. And at the end of the day, that's what I am asking for, is for the disabled to have what they are rightly entitled to, which is paratransit service and being on time or close to.
And
Thank
I
you.
do appreciate that. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Do we have more public comments?
No.
Old business? No. New business? Resolution 2434.
Good evening. I'll be presenting this on behalf of Steve Green. We would like to recommend the execution of the first option available on our Cintas contract for uniforms, towels, mats, and laundry services. They're providing an excellent service right now, and we have 2 contract options available, and we would like to execute it. The term of our current contract is for 3 years, which started 7/1/2021, and it ends the end of this month, 6/30/2024. And it has two-year options available to extend the term. We're wishing to extend this term another 2 years, starting July 1st, 2024, and ending 6/30/2026. There will be a slight increase. This is a service agreement, so the increase is just pennies per item. The pricing, updated pricing is on the sheet after the staff summary. It reflects approximately about an $800 difference per year, and this pricing will be locked in for 2 years. We would like to recommend that you guys approve the general manager to execute the first contract option with Cintas.
Questions? I have a statement.
Okay.
I've noticed as a pattern that we tend to extend these contracts just kind of like automatically. Do you ever, just because we have an ability to extend it for 2 years, do you ever send out other requests, or you just go
Yeah.
with what?
So my process is, what I do is I make timelines for myself to notify the project lead, whoever it is, whoever owns the contract, whoever manages it. And I reached out to Brad and Steve probably 6 months ago and just let them know that you have contract options available. How is the service? And I have them fill out an evaluation. And so we go through and they evaluate it. This one specifically, they're providing excellent service compared to, I know our previous contractor we had issues with, but we don't have any issues from what I'm aware of with these guys. But if there is a problem, then we will do what we can to reprocure, and sometimes it doesn't work out that way, but we do our best.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I just need your process. I appreciate that. Okay. May I have a motion to accept?
My motion.
Second?
Second.
We need roll call vote since we're talking money. Secretary?
Was that me? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Trustee Polk,
Approved.
trustee Hare. Approved. Trustee Knox. Approved. Trustee Morris. Approved. Trustee Hare approved.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Financial report. We're all listed.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Regarding the finances for the month of May, our total monthly operating expenses for the month were a little bit above $2.7 million, and it represents 6.9% of the FY 2024 annual budget. This percentage is 0.24% less than the monthly projections, regarding vendor spread, we had about 7 new vendors, nothing abnormal out of the ordinary. Transactions looks good. Wages and salaries are pretty level. Likewise, services, materials, and supplies and miscellaneous. Casualty is maintaining roughly the same level as prior months. No notable deviation. Capital expenditures were lower than normal at about $571,000. The next payout will be this month, which will be $602,000, and that will be payout number 36. As Beth indicated, payout 37 will be coming through more towards the end of the month, so that'll be paid at the beginning, roughly the beginning of the next successive month. And that concludes the report of the finances. Are there any questions?
Seeing none, may I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you.
We need a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Storm Polk,
Accept.
trustee Hare. Approved. Trustee Knox. Approved. Trustee Morris. Approved. Trustee Hare approved.
Motion carries. We are at the end of our agenda because the executive session doesn't exactly meet the qualifications. We will not be having one this evening. So may I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Meeting adjourned.